the year is 2019 and I have created a time capsule that has various artifacts and pieces of information that would be relevant for someone learning how to become an adult in 2019, things that they might have cared or been concerned about during this time period. This time capsule is not to be opened for 20 years until 2039. So let's take a look inside. As we open the time capsule, we see a definition for adulting. This is a common term used in 2019. In fact, there are lots of different videos and YouTube channels dedicated to adulting, which is a verb, used as a verb, and it just basically means the act of doing anything that is required for being an adult. So inside this box are things you would need for adulting. For example, I have included a wallet here that says save, and I enclosed $1 because savings and money issues are very relevant in 2019. In fact, the burden of debt is astronomical, with student loans reaching an all-time high. Most of this generation lives paycheck to paycheck. They are struggling to get ahead. They're not saving for their retirement. Debt is one of their number one concerns, and that has impacted them personally, professionally, in their relationships. They are possibly even delaying getting married or having children because they just honestly can't afford it. So this infographic here is included with all the information that someone would need to know about an adult in 2019. So that's our first artifact. Next, a concern for people in 2019 is the environment. There's a lot of talk about global warming and about just the way that we humans have impacted our environment and sort of what the long-term ramifications. So in 2039, when this is being opened, I would be very curious to see how far we've come. One of the things that over the past few years has become more and more relevant is the fact that we are losing our honeybees. Here's a little honeybee. Oh, his wing opened. Here's our little honeybee. And the honeybees really need our help. This is one thing that we have done with the increased use of pesticides and radio waves. We're just not really 100% sure what has happened, but the honeybees have started to disappear at an alarming rate. And this is just one of many, many factors or things that people in 2019 are very concerned about. In fact, there is a new type of psychology called climate psychology, where people are so concerned about the environment that they are having climate anxiety because we're just not sure how much of a negative impact and how quickly we're going to experience the ramifications of our decisions and behaviors. So I included inside here a pack of Save the Bees wildflowers. That is one of the ways recommended that we can make a change and make an impact. So small little changes make a big difference. So even here we've got using glass. This can be reused, and that's another issue that we are facing. It's just the overwhelming amount of plastic in our environment. That's our second artifact. Next, I included a car, and this car I attached with an article called 5 Reasons Why Young People Don't Drive or Own Cars. And this is an interesting article that talks about the fact that the number of young people owning cars has reduced drastically, and this is for a variety of reasons, including the addition of ride-sharing companies such as Lyft and Uber. They say, in fact, that only 44% of teenagers have a driver's license, and the number of vehicles owned by ages between 18 and 34 has dropped by approximately 30%. So the number of cars on the road is decreasing, and this is impacting not only the car industry, but it's impacting our environment, and in some ways in a very positive way because they are finding alternate ways to get around from A to B. Our public transportation system has gotten better. Honestly, again, goes back to this first artifact here, even just the financial issues of affording a car. Some people can't, or maybe they can make the car payment but not the insurance payment. So the fact that ride sharing has become so popular, I'll be curious to see in 2039 where we're at in terms of the number of vehicles on the road, and also what other forms of transportation we may have available to us. The next artifact I included was a circular. I think it's important and interesting always to see how the cost of living has changed and has either increased or decreased over time. Today, actually, there was an article that came out talking about how climate change is going to impact even the cost of our foods. We don't know how much we're going to be able to grow and what the cost of food is going to be. So I think including a circular like this, which has a variety of products, and including foods and all sorts of household products, sort of how this will change over the course of history. Like here we have Charmin and Bounty, right? These are not made from recyclable products, and I hope that in 20 years we won't be seeing so much single-use plastic. All of this might be gone in 20 years. We can hope, right? So I included that because I thought that would be interesting. The next thing is I made a very small glass jar, as you can see here. It's a mindfulness jar. That was one of the lessons I covered during our class, and something that I teach to my independent life skills students. And I wrote on here, today is the tomorrow we worried about yesterday. So just including the idea that, you know, there is a lot of stress and worry and anxiety, and so mindfulness, or the practice of just sort of staying present in the moment, I've included that lesson in here, as well as a small miniature version of the mindfulness jar. And the last thing, my last artifact, is actually a second car, because something that, even though, you know, we're talking about the fact that less and less cars are on the road, students still have to make decisions if they have the financial means to buy a car, whether they are going to lease or buy. So I included my infographic that I made here with the pros and cons of leasing versus buying, and sort of what all the costs would be. So that is my last artifact, and I shall put everything inside of my time capsule. And I hope you enjoyed watching my 2019 time capsule. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.